Good evening. Today is May 12th. I'm Kristin Olsen, Chair of the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors, and this is your daily community update. For today's new updated numbers, please refer to the captions on tonight's update. We did learn new information about our numbers tonight as it relates to cluster outbreaks in places like the skilled nursing facility, etc. 71% of our deaths have been from these cluster outbreaks. 25% of our positive case numbers have been from these cluster outbreaks, which according to our public health officer are not an accurate reflection of community spread. So we thought that those were important numbers to provide you with this evening. Originally, as many of you know, we were planning at the Board of Supervisors meeting this morning to roll out a broader, safe reopening plan of our local economy for both businesses and activities. We were going to do that based on our public health officer's recommendations and based on our local data and science, which the public health officer suggests is warranting a broader, safe reopening of businesses and activities in our community. We were also planning on doing that based on the assumption and based on what we had been told from the governor's office and the State Department of Public Health at this time last week, that we were going to be given the autonomy to make those decisions locally, again, based on the data and the science metrics in our community. Unfortunately, last Thursday afternoon, we learned that the state was not going to be providing counties with that local decision-making authority unless they met specific metrics handed down by the state last Thursday afternoon. Two of those metrics, according to our public health officer, are unreasonable and will not be achieved today nor for the foreseeable future. So counties across the state are in agreement on these points and are seeking to communicate that, and we have actively communicated that to the state, to the California Department of Public Health, to the governor's office, and we will continue seeking local decision-making authority based on our own public health data and medical science. In the meantime, what we did today instead at the Board of Supervisors meeting was take several actions. First, all local public health orders regarding staying at home during this COVID-19 crisis have been rescinded, with the exception of two health orders. One related to skilled nursing facilities and congregate living centers, in light of the fact that for those settings, we need to be stricter than the state order based on our local data and what our science is telling us. Number two, for food processing. Those two orders will remain in place in Stanislaus County. Again, one for congregate living centers and one for food processing. Other than that, all local stay-at-home orders have been rescinded. Two, we have recognized that it is the state order that is now in control across the state, and that includes Stanislaus County. Three, we will be sending a letter to Governor Newsom this week asking for variance from his plan so that we can make local decisions in Stanislaus County as it relates to the reopening of our economy based on our local public health data, medical science, and the recommendations of Dr. V, our public health officer. And finally, we took action at the Board of Supervisors meeting this morning to say that no county resources can be spent to enforce the governor's statewide order except for in the case of mass gatherings. It is really important to note that mass gatherings are still not safe in our community. That is where we're seeing a lot of outbreaks take place, and we are strongly advising people not to gather in groups outside of their households at this time. Again, we encourage you to look to the governor's state order for what is controlling stay-at-home orders across the state, including Stanislaus County today. In the meantime, all local orders have been rescinded, and we will not be using county resources in unincorporated areas in order to enforce the governor's order. As a reminder, tomorrow evening, Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. is our weekly Facebook Live Q&A. We'll have on Dr. V, Sheriff Dirksey, and myself available to answer your questions related to COVID-19 in Stanislaus County, as well as the Board of Supervisors decisions made this morning. On Thursday evening, we'll have a special Facebook Live Q&A to talk about COVID-19 safe worship guidance. Our guests will be three local pastors, Marvin Jacobo, the Executive Director of City Ministry Network, Brett Avery, the executive pastor at New Life Church in Turlock, and Jim Applegate, the pastor of Redeemer Church here in Modesto. We hope you tune in both tomorrow night and Thursday night to ask your questions on these topics. In the meantime, have a great evening.